Most people won't survive 72 hours in an emergency, not because they lack gear, but they're prepared for the wrong problem. The 72-hour rule didn't teach us how to think, it taught us how to shop. Listen, I'm not here to scare you, but I am here to slow things down. As an EMT, first responder, and a wilderness medicine instructor, what I've seen is one pattern time after time. There is no rushing in survival. When panic sets in, people think they need to hurry, they need to run. That's not the case. They go with the mindset that their gear is going to tend to everything and they'll be just fine. Gear does not equal readiness or preparedness. Let's face it, the reality is I've seen people with nothing survive and people with a lot of gear fail. This isn't about war stories or things that have happened, but it's about patterns that repeat. The other reality is the 72-hour rule didn't come from survival science. It came from civil defense planning. It's what the government put into place as a simple solution to say, hey, we need extra time before we can come save you. We now have more assumptions. Infrastructure can be damaged, assistance can be delayed, and so citizens have to self-sustain temporarily. Over time, what we learned is that the minimum became the goal, preparedness became a checklist, and everything led to consumerism. But the thing to think about is survival isn't about duration, it's about the decisions you make. So let's change the mentality of survival as a whole. Stop thinking about hours and think about the decisions that have to be made. Let's reprioritize. You may ask, why the 72 hours will fail? Mainly because emergencies don't end cleanly. Not everybody shows up on time. Utilities don't turn on like they're supposed to evenly. What that means is the real danger starts at day 4. That means if your plan stops at 72 hours, your risk starts at 73. So again, let's reprioritize. Priority number 1. Temperature control. Exposure kills you faster than hunger will. Wet and cold beats motivated and geared up. So I have an action item for you. Lay out your gear. Find out what clothes keep you dry when it's wet and warm when it's cold. Then determine whether you need it, depending on the season, depending upon the location, whatever it is, do that as your action item for priority 1. Priority number 2, water. You know this is important because dehydration kills. Access to water matters a little bit more. You carry a filter with you, that's great, but do you have access to water? I know I have a river here, but I also know where 2 other access points are. Carrying water beats filtration every day of the week because you know that water's clean and you know you have it with you. So here's your action item. Find you 3 locations that you can access water should you need to filter it, but reuse your bottles so that you can go ahead and carry water with you as you go. I understand it's heavy, but you're assured water if that's the case. Priority number 3, calories. You're not gonna starve in 72 hours. Trust me, been there, done that, don't wanna do it again, but it was definitely a lot longer than 72 hours. You need to look at energy management versus meal planning. What that means is energy management is if you don't need to stand up, sit down. If you don't need to sit down, lay down. If you don't need to move, then don't do it. The reality is this, the more calories you conserve, the less you have to worry about burning later. Remember, simple calories over emergency meal. Hunger is a discomfort, not a failure. Priority number 4, communication and awareness. Panic comes from not knowing what's going on. It's not about the data transfer or getting the information out. It's about not knowing what's happening around us. So your action is downloading emergency radio apps or emergency communication app. It could be the FEMA app. I know, but it could be. Also, your local EMA, Emergency Management Agency, and Sheriff's Department usually offer an SMS text message for notifications of emergency. Another option is to download the On Scene Alert app. I'll put a link down in the description for you that gives you up-to-date information based off of real emergency managers sitting there looking at the screen and saying, yes, this is a priority. So while we're talking about gear, the reason that most 72-hour go bags fail is because there's redundancy without the skill to go with it. What skills do you know how to use? Skills don't weigh anything, and so when you look at what all is in your bag, you may have 4 or 5 different things in there, but you've never touched them, which means they are worthless. Throw them out. They're no good. What you need to do is start thinking about, let me take this one item and learn how to do it. Let me work with it every single day this week until I know it cold or until I don't know how not to do it. An example is I had a student who had 2 tourniquets. Great. They didn't know how to apply them. So until we ran through it and they continued to run through it, they were unsure how to use it and that made it worthless. Great. I have it and I can give it to somebody else. That may be the thought pattern, but what if it's you by yourself and you with your family? The other thing is prepackaged items items or prepackaged bags is nothing more than a feel-good strategy. You think you're prepared, but again, if you don't know how to use it, doesn't mean anything. I've actually received emergency medical kit only to find out that the tourniquet is nothing more than a buckle and a nylon strap. There was no way to lock it down. So your action item for this is to remove everything from your bag and find out what doesn't fit. What do you not know how to use? Because at that point, it's worthless. Put it to the side or learn how to use it before you put it back in the bag. Last but not least, calm is a survival tool. Stress condones narrow thinking or gives you tunnel vision, and panic gives you cascading failures when it comes to preparedness. When I enter a scene or deal with a patient or deal with somebody from a security perspective, what I do is I stop. I take a minute, I take a deep breath, maybe even loosen up my neck a little bit, and then go do what I have to do. A lot of people see this on me and they ask me why I do this. Because I actually do the STOP acronym. Stop, think, or take a breath, observe, and then proceed. Doing those two things actually helps me to make clearer decisions in a panic situation where everything else is flying off the handle or flying loose everywhere else, and I'm able to perform the way I need to perform. Whether it's saving lives, whether it's giving medical attention to somebody, or whether it's dealing with some security mechanism that has to be dealt with severely. That keeps me safe and it keeps everyone around me safe as well. So let's do a 72-hour reset challenge. Stay put, stay dry, stay informed, and stay calm. Because the reality is, prepared people don't panic, they think. If this is the kind of person that you want to be, especially for skills-based preparedness, then this is the channel for you. Let me know what you think. What's the first thing you're going to work on? Put it down in the comments below. Again, don't forget to subscribe, click the thumbs up, click the notification bell, and until then, use your instincts to survive. Thanks for watching.